people like me. You need people like me so you can point your f***ing fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
All of these shows, but this one's going to be a little different. It just is. When you know you've got a WBA World Lightweight Championship on the line, pressure's not going to bother you. I can tell there, but it's just something that ultimately, this is what all the time, all the hard work, all the hours, it all culminates into having this opportunity in your hometown, in front of your fans, your friends, your family. It's unbelievable.
Oh, I'm so excited, and I know it's going to be a fight, and I know that any person that's fighting for a world title, myself and Hannah Turlough, is going to be a fight because we both want that belt. So I'm just excited to fight for that belt, and I know I'm capable, and I want to come home victorious Saturday night.
If and when you come home victorious, will the plans be to defend that belt during the year? Will El Paso get an opportunity to see you put that belt on the line?
I hope so. I hope to win this championship first and then defend my title. But I don't want to just stop as the WBA champion. I truly want to be undisputed lightweight champion of the world. I want to get all the belts.
So you're
no, I really do.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we're talking WBC, we're talking IBF, we're talking WBO. All good. Collect them all. Why not?
I want to win, and I know that the other champions, they underestimate me. And I want to show them I'm capable. I'm capable. They're Olympians, and I don't care. I know I'm strong, and I know I'm good enough.
It sounds to me also like you've got a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. You really do, because you know that people are going to think about you, and they're not going to take you maybe as seriously as they...
It's a stout observation. It's a stout observation from the host who thinks that Stephanie Hahn will be underestimated by the other champions at the weight if she becomes one among them herself.
If she wins this weekend?
Not because Stephanie isn't a good fighter, but she's really just one good fighter among many good fighters and many good champions, some of which are former Olympians who medaled in the Olympics, deep amateur backgrounds, deeper than hers.
If and when they catch wind that she means to unify, they're going to be climbing over each other to get at her because they're going to look at her as the low-hanging fruit.
So this weekend, Stephanie will be taking on Hannah Turlough for the newly vacated WBA lightweight title that Katie Taylor used to hold. Stephanie boasts a professional record of 9 wins with no losses, no draws, 2 recorded knockouts. To Hannah Turlough, who sports a professional record of 5 wins with 1 loss, no draws, 2 knockouts, having been knocked out once in 6 professional bouts.
I like Stephanie to win the fight.
She does seem to have a respectable punch, an authoritative punch, some power, some ability. She'll have home field advantage since it's going down in her native El Paso, Texas. And it also helps that Hannah Turlough is coming off a loss, a knockout loss to unbeaten Chelsea Anderson close to a year ago, approximately 11 months in March of last year. Stopped in the 6th round of a contest scheduled for 6 rounds.
And it really doesn't help that that's the only fight that Hannah Turlough has had in the last 2 years. A fight 11 months ago where she was knocked out. The year before that, she didn't fight at all.
She's never even so much as fought in an 8-rounder. The most she's ever fought in are 6-rounders. So I like Stephanie's chances against Hannah Turlough, and it really is after that where things will get interesting. Stephanie Hahn, the younger sister of former IBF featherweight champion Jennifer Hahn of the Fighting Hahns, well-known family in El Paso, Texas. Stephanie saw action 4 times last year. 4. Last in action in July.
Busy schedule.
She fought in March, she fought in April, she fought in May, then she fought again in July, then took the rest of the year off.
Busy schedule.
And now she's off to an early start, just like last year, to where if she takes care of business this weekend, she's got the entire rest of the year to schedule even more fights. How soon should she go into a unification match when she doesn't have a lot of amateur experience or pro experience?
She mentioned defending the title first. before going into a unification match.
That a unification match may not be her very next fight after this weekend's fight. It doesn't help her situation that Canada's own Jessica Kamara is WBA gold champion.
Jessica Kamara was last in action across the pond in the United Kingdom opposite the ring Caroline Dubois in a fight that was ruled a no contest as a result of a clash of heads
And cuts.
Now, if you saw the fight, you'll know that Caroline Dubois was well on her way to knocking out Jessica Kamara with minimal effort. She made it look easy. Jessica is quite fortunate that the contest was ruled a no contest
because it didn't affect her rank.
Technically, she didn't lose, and thus, she didn't lose any ground in the WBA's ranked standings, where she is ranked at number 1.
So that should Stephanie Hahn become full WBA champion this weekend, the fighter most in line to challenge her for the belt to become her mandatory is Jessica. And Jessica, for all her drawbacks, she's still a more experienced fighter than Stephanie Hahn.
It's a good acid test.
If what you're doing is backing yourself to become this division's undisputed champion, you need to be able to make it past the Jessica Kamaras of the world.
You think you can beat Caroline Dubois? You think you can beat Beatrice Ferreira? Terry Harper? You need to be able to beat a Jessica Kamara first.
It's not a bad fight for later on in the year.
It's sensible.
Though I anticipate that it won't take the other belt holders long to start hounding Stephanie Hahn for a fight should she acquire the WBA title this weekend. It might behoove her to put a little bit of distance between herself and those champions, a chance to amass more pro experience.
Before fighting one of them.
It really wouldn't be a bad idea to fight Jessica Kamara, to fight a former champion in Hyun-Mi Choi.
Unifying this division is already an uphill battle. You need all the experience that you can get.
Men's lightweight news. The continued fallout of Floyd Schofield's withdrawal from this weekend's contest. Golden Boy Promotions released an official statement saying yesterday, Floyd Kid Austin Schofield Jr. fell ill and was transported to the hospital as a precautionary measure. In the interest of Schofield's health and safety, the British Boxing Board of Control made the decision to cancel his scheduled bout against Shakur Stevenson. Schofield has since been discharged from the hospital and is awaiting the results of his medical evaluation. We extend our gratitude to His Excellency Turki El Sheikh, Sela, and the medical professionals who provided Schofield with care.
Well, the board pulled him out of the fight because they don't think he should be in the ring. He's not fit enough to be in the ring. And somebody showed me a photograph of him lying in a hospital bed with all tubes up his nose. So how can he be fighting? It's crazy. You can't let that happen. And the board of control have done the right thing. They're there to protect the fighter and his best interest and the sport's best interest. And that's the end of it. Doesn't matter what his dad says and all that, whatever. 1 minute his dad says this and that. The fact of the matter is you only have to look at that photograph. And if anybody thinks he should be allowed to box, they got something wrong with him.
It's a no-nonsense evaluation from Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren, though the story is still being met with some skepticism. Amaro E. Austin Sr., friend of the channel, said, house broke in and stole passports, tires slashed, Shakur sent a mole to the camp, Shakur planted drugs on them, and sent the police to pull them over. Shakur's masseuse rubbed cream on the kid and made him sick. Snack poisoned the kid.
That is an itemized list of accusations we've heard in the build-up of this weekend's fight, each one more ridiculous than the last.
So what we know is that the BBBOC, who oversee the fights in Saudi, are the ones who made the call. They're the ones who pulled the plug on this.
Why is the question? Why exactly?
Veteran content creator Najee stated, could Kid Austin actually be sick? Yes, but with all the things his dad was saying prior, it looks suspect. He looked fine in interviews yesterday. First the mole in the camp, then the WBC is cheating, the passports are stolen, then planting drugs and a SWAT team came. Bad situation for Shakur and Kid.
All of this is stuff that Floyd Schofield's father was saying.
So that if something happens and you end up being pulled from the fight, what you look like is the boy who cried wolf. Now, nobody believes you, because they didn't believe any of those other cockamamie things you were saying. Does Shakur Stevenson really have to sabotage a fight with Floyd Schofield?
Come on.
Twitter user that goes by the name Cuddy757 doesn't think so. Excuse me, Miss Nurse Bay to you. Can you explain these vital signs for the boxing community? This little guy probably has a chest cold, but he's acting like he's got the West Nile monkeypox with a touch of gonorrhea.
Don't forget the clap.
If he was in fact pulled from the fight by the BBBOC and he was in fact hospitalized, people still aren't buying it. Other Twitter user that goes by the name Stefan Sorby said, "This is twisted. No official press release with any information about his illness or symptoms, yet they post a video like that. It's like a segment from WWE Raw."
What was wrong with him?
We don't actually know. What we do know is that Floyd Schofield's father, via Floyd's account, tried to point the finger at Shakur Stevenson, claiming that Floyd was poisoned, that somebody on Shakur's side poisoned Floyd Schofield.
That was yesterday.
Also, that today they can say via that same Twitter account, in all due respect, we cannot blame Shakur or his team. I believe Shakur wanted to really fight Kid. We wish Shakur and his team success. I hope we can fight in the near future. All things are forgiven.
See how neat and tidy it all wraps itself up?
They said it was not Snack. Please keep them and Victor out of this, please.
Keep them out of it. You're the one that brought them in. You're the one that pointed the finger in their direction, making these baseless accusations. And look at how many people ran with that narrative. Immediately ran with it.
With no evidence, no proof, just their active imaginations and a baseless accusation. That's all it takes to convince these people because they're not critical thinkers. It always boiled down to a simple question for me. Is Floyd Schofield somebody that Shakur has to poison?
Hell no.
That didn't stop AT Boxing Life from running with the narrative set forth by Floyd Schofield Sr., saying almost every time snack fighters fight, there's some drama.
No, you mean they use Snack as a means to manufacture drama because the accusations never hold any water. Ryan's accusations didn't, nor did Floyd Schofield's. In fact, they took it back.
Candy Slim 501 said, "Didn't Ryan's supplements test positive for Osterin? Was it Victor?
What did I tell you in my previous video?
Tainted supplements or his weight-cutting coach? Everybody except him."
This is why I said that Victor should pursue a defamation suit, because as a result of Ryan's baseless accusations, everybody in boxing is now using Victor and using Snack as the fall guy, the evil mastermind behind everything.
It's all bullshit.
Look at the goddamn screen.
Look at it. After making all of those baseless accusations that many of you ran with, look at the screen. Oh, now they take it all back. Now that the fight is off, now that the fight is canceled, oh, it wasn't them. Leave Victor and Snack out of it when you're the ones that made it about them.
Irrespective of who pulled the plug, and irrespective of Floyd's hospitalization, I don't think anybody poisoned him. And underneath it all, I maintain they never wanted this fight.
Now look what they're saying. Now look. If Floyd recovers in time, we will be at the fight to support all the fighters who are chasing their dreams and feeding their families. Inshallah, la 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 la.
Oh, so you were too sick to make it to the Shakur Stevenson fight, but you're not so sick that you can't be in attendance.
And you know that this isn't even the first time that Floyd Schofield has pulled out of a fight due to a quote-unquote injury. Many of you must have forgotten when he was supposed to fight Ashton Silva, and he pulled out of that fight due to medical reasons. Ashton reacted to the news when it first broke by saying, "That sounds familiar." 3 weeks before our fight, Bro said he broke his ribs from an elbow. Guess he was training for MMA.
It's a pattern.
Supposed to fight Ashton on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. He withdrew from that fight.
Medical reasons.
Now with Shakur Stevenson, it's the same thing.
Medical reasons.
You guys are mind-numbingly gullible.
Stupid.
So now what's going to happen is Shakur Stevenson's going to face late replacement Josh Padley this weekend in Saudi Arabia. He will at least get the chance to fight on this bill, but nobody's going to be shouting from the rooftops if and when he beats Josh Padley. That it's not enough to just get a fight, it's got to be a meaningful one against some semblance of a somebody, so that when he fights this guy, his critics, like Peso Polo, who said he's got a weak-ass resume, he will never be an all-time great or pound for pound, none of that.
He's talking about Shakur?
Yes, he is. When news first broke that Floyd Schofield had been pulled from the fight, for some reason, this guy started attacking Shakur. Why do you think that is?
Nationalism.
This is a prime example of what I'm always talking to you guys about here on this channel. These tribalists and these nationalists that get it in their head that they can criticize everybody else for their biases, but they think their own shit don't stink.
I'm not understanding.
The axe he has to grind with Shakur Stevenson is that Shakur has made not one, but two Mexican fighters look like a bunch of ducks. First it was Isaac Cruz, when Isaac was ordered to fight Shakur and Isaac chose to go in another direction. And then it was William Zepeda, who I know for a fact Peso Polo is high on.
Well, he's high on pretty much anybody that flies the same flag as he does because he's a nationalist. He's a tribalist.
How else do you explain him taking aim at Shakur Stevenson, tearing him down and criticizing him for what are two Golden Boy Promotions fighters in William Zepeda and Floyd Schofield that found a way to avoid him?
I really do love the sport of boxing, and you can tell, but I've no tolerance for the people in it.
Their biases, their hypocrisy. It's better to not even mince words with them. You're wasting your time.
Don't give them an audience. They're hypocrites and they know they're hypocrites.
You often hear me say that boxing is the best microcosm for life because it mirrors it so closely. When you take a look around, you take a look at these people and how full of shit they are.
Under scrutiny.
Polo is just one example, but a good one. That you're watching fighters like Isaac and William avoid fighting Shakur, so that when those names aren't on his resume, you can then call it weak.
I've seen Polo high on a good number of fighters whose resumes are even weaker than Shakur's.
He loves guys like William Zepeda, who would rather fight Tevin Farmer twice than fight Shakur Stevenson once. He's got nothing to say about that. And why do you think that is?
Tribalism.
Well, you'll get in your tits when you see somebody else's, but we're supposed to tolerate yours?
Bullshit.
Your beef with Shakur is he made the weak-ass fighters you like look like a bunch of ducks. That's your real problem. Upon Shakur Stevenson's ascent to the lightweight division, I forecasted this. I said it would happen, that they're going to do to Shakur at 135 what they did to Terrence Crawford at 147. They're going to freeze him out. They're going to part around him like a river around a rock, so that when he doesn't get those meaningful fights, they will then criticize his resume for the names that are not on them with no oversight as to all the ducking.
Cowards.
And only a coward would support this.
They come in all shapes and sizes.
And they all seem to think this shit don't stink.
Cowards.
I am not a fan of Shakur Stevenson. I'm really not a fan of any pure boxer. It's the base style that I like the least. But what I like even less than that is the avalanche of excuses and the avalanche of bullshit from these people.
Oh, you don't want to call them out on it because you have something in common with them. And how is that different from what Gervonta Davis's fans do with him?
It's not.
What gets lost in the conversation is we wouldn't be here now if William Zepeda hadn't faked that injury, because the injury is fake and everybody knows it.
You didn't see the news? His quote-unquote injury didn't even require surgery. No, he healed up right on time to fight Tevin Farmer not once, but twice.
Running from a guy that doesn't even knock people out, doesn't even hit that hard. Running!
Like Floyd Schofield is running, because he's another one.
Call a spade and a bullshitter, a bullshitter. The Schofields are full of shit, and so are you guys.
I am not a fan of Shakur Stevenson, and I don't like his base style, but what I like even less than that is a bunch of bullshitters.